Georgetta Gankars here, and today I'm going to do a fast painting of a landscape, and I'm just going to do it in about 10 minutes. And I'm just going, all of my brushes are bristle hair brushes. They're about a number 6, maybe a 5, 2, 4, and I have my wash brush. So let's get started. And I'm going to mix, here's my palette. And I have my Napple red, my cadmium yellow, my phthalo green, my umber browns, sienna. I have a tea white, I have some Mars black, and I have ultramarine blue. And what I say is if you don't want to make the black, obviously you can just mix red and your green and your blue, and you'll have an excellent dark color. So let's get started. I'm going to do my wash. And the time starts now. And I'm going to make a Payne's gray with a little bit of gray and ultramarine blue. Just for my sky here. Put it here. Okay. Move the sky down a little bit more. And it's pretty smooth the way I want it. It's a little bit of a cloud. And now I'm going to start with the water, and I'm going to use the same brush. And the water is going to be a reflection, obviously, of the sky. And I'm going to make it a little darker. Okay. I'm going to build it up a little bit more. Okay, so my water down. Bring it down a little bit more here. Okay, the next color that I'm going to have is I'm going to have the water, a little bit of water underneath too. So I'm going to bring that color down. And I'm still sticking to the Payne's gray. And you can really see that gray and that blue coming through. Okay, and I'm going to add more blue. Just make it a little thicker. This water's closest to us. And I'm going to start building up these strokes. Okay, and one more layer. Now I have this. Now what I'm going to do in the middle is I'm going to add a rock. And I'm going to add a rock first with my brush, and then I might use my palette knife. So I'm going to stick with my bristle hair brush. And I'm not going to clean the brush. And remember, we're doing this really fast. I'm making this up out of my head here. I'm just kind of putting this shape down for a rock. And it could be any kind of rock. My student had a similar photograph that's still on my mind. That I'm using as my reference here. And you can see I'm not even cleaning my brush. I'm just putting those colors directly on top. And again, we're working fast, wet on wet. And I'm putting down the dark colors because I'm going to blend the light directly on top. I'll put another rock here. Sorry, I'm painting this sideways. Okay. Now we've got down our brown. And remember when I talked to you about swatches, and I said that you can start with one main color, and then you're just adding colors on top? That's basically what we're doing here. And if we press lightly, we get lots of little different strokes, lots of color coming through. Okay, I'll show you so far where we are with our little rock here, a little mountain. We can even incorporate and put some dark greens in there. And again, this is wet on wet, and we're moving really fast. Got some green areas in the rock here. That is growing. You can make believe it's maybe, I don't know, some moss. Now I'm thinking about where all those light areas would be on the rock. Where are my light areas? Okay, defining that really fast. And again, you let it dry in between. You can even go with a lighter brown if you wanted to, certain areas. And start building it up. Okay. Now the next thing is we're going to start building this area up with a little bit of water and waves, and then at the bottom too. So we're going to use a different brush. And if you're using oils, you can use acrylics, oils, wet on wet. If you're using them, I don't mean you never mix oils and acrylics. I mean, if you're using them wet on wet, in other words, you're not letting the acrylics dry. Obviously, the oils, they take a longer amount of time to dry, and you have to work with thin layers and then build up thicker layers. Because if you don't, with the oils, it will crack. So you have to apply it lightly. I'm using acrylics here, but I've done this similar paintings too with oils. And again, this is just like 10 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer, right, because we were setting up. And we have our waves coming down here. And we can also put something as far as maybe some green in here for waves. we wanted to, some blue, we just change it a little, build it up a little bit more contrast. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to clean our brush. I'm going to go ahead and put this water here. This is the interesting part because maybe you have these waves crashing up, I don't know. My student did a really good one. And you could also put some color in these waves. Some of them might be transparent, crashing into this, the back part of this rock. And this is how you would start it. And then you could go and you could build more colors on top of this. It gets to a point where it's so wet that you can't do that. Right, so you have to stop. But you want to try to layer it as much as you can now. Okay, kind of have this, maybe the wave is coming up. It's a big wave in the back. We can put more water down here. But again, we have to wait because this is really, at this point, you know, not in its spot where it needs to be blended a little bit more. This is how we would start it, okay? Now, that's 10 minutes probably in, right? Then you have a base. So I'm going to go and finish this painting. Show you what it looks like afterwards. I'm just going to build up this rock a little bit more. And again, you see I have these loose strokes. I'm going to bring back the shape of the rock. Rocks sometimes are smooth, or they could have like pointy edges, depending on how we want them to look. Okay, I'm going to pull this down a little bit down into the water, where the rock kind of goes with the water, and you get this color of a combination, right, of the foam. If you were looking at the water, it was a shadow. Okay, so we'll come back and build this up. But I want to show you, this is a really smooth sky. If you wanted to, and again, this is like, what now, maybe 11 minutes in. If you wanted to add some clouds, you could. I like it kind of smooth because there's so much texture down here. But we could add a cloud if we wanted to. But when I add clouds, I think about, you know, maybe I'm going to blend the bottom of that cloud in the sky. Some of the clouds might be really soft clouds. And, you know, some of the clouds could be a little bit harsher if you want them to be thicker. Maybe they're having more sunshine in the back. You know, you have different types of clouds. I like to go outside and do all these drawings of these clouds and start building the shadows under them. So this is like a really kind of like, I guess, really sunny kind of day. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to come back. I'm going to build these clouds up. I'm going to fix this horizon line going across here and bring in a little bit of more shadow. I'm going to build these waves up. I really can't, I'll show you, I really can't do any much. You know, the more light that I put there and the more foam of those waves coming over the rocks, it's just going to get muddy at this point. So we have to let it dry. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to build up this area. Okay, so that's something that you can do like in 10 minutes. Very fast kind of landscape, building this in, putting in the sands, thinking about the color. And, you know, you can go back and drastically change it too. That's the wonderful thing about painting. It doesn't always have to, if you don't like, you know, if you wanted to add like more water, I'll show you. You could just go back, you see, over that and add some kind of blue if you wanted to bring in, you know, like a little water edge here. It's always nice to have, when you're painting, a really good composition and thinking about how you're going to change that composition and making it kind of interesting and not just having, okay, a sky here, water here, you know, rocks in the middle. You could just have like one rock. I'm just did one big rock so you get the idea of what it looks like. And we could work on it a little bit more. But as you can see, I'm bringing in a little blue down here with some of this Payne's gray I made. I'm going to build this up because this is actually going to be a little bit of water, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So it's just not, again, just rock and that. And you can start building it up. So again, short time in, you know, I'll finish it and I'll show you how it looks. So, and you can see the clouds, they work well. I'll do another one in another 10 minutes, which will be totally different, and show you how that one comes out. Okay, have a great day. Ciao.